Welcome back, class. Welcome in your science lesson, right? Okay. Now tell me what we are going to do is I will tell you the topic in a minute. What I'm going to do, I am going to introduce myself and my family, and in the same way, you are going to introduce yourself and your family. Okay? Now see, like I am the youngest child in my family. I am the youngest child and I am the only girl in my family. Now you tell me, are you the youngest in the family? No? Are you the youngest child in the family? Yes, Alia, you are the youngest in the family. Okay. So are you the oldest in the family? Amir is the oldest in the family. And are you in the middle of your family? Are you the middle child? Neha, you are the middle child. You have one more sister. So that means we have different families and we have different stages and we are at different points in the family. Some of you are older, some of you are younger, some of you comes in the middle. So these are the different stages, right? We have different stages of growing. So this is what is our topic for today, that is stages of growing. Now we have these different stages of growing, and what these different stages are, I'm going to show you in a form of a presentation, right? So are you all ready for that? Yes? Okay, let's go. Let's see what your teacher has for you. All right. Now, can you see my screen, children? Yes. Okay, so look at the following pictures on human stages of growth. Right now, the first stage is, like suppose it is the first stage of growth, that is a baby. A baby is born, a child is born, right? Everyone has a baby. The first stage is a child is born, a baby is born, and later on what this baby becomes? It becomes a toddler. That is the second stage. It becomes a toddler. Then this is the third stage of human growth, and that is a child. A toddler becomes a child. That is a preschooler. It goes in the school and all that. Then the fourth stage, the child becomes a adult or a teenager first and then an adult, right? This is the fourth stage. So you can see these are parents. This is the life cycle of human, that parents, they will produce babies. The babies are born. A child is born. It becomes a baby. Then it becomes a child. And then later on it becomes adolescents, teenagers. And teenagers later on will become adults, right? Do you understand? This is the life cycle of humans. You can see numbers are written. This is the first stage, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth is the last one. That is an adult. And what comes after adult, children? Adult will become, yes, they will become old people, right? They will become old people. Like you all have your parents, you all have your grandparents, right? So see, these people are all in the same family. Now, this is a complete life cycle of a human. You can see this is a baby. A baby is born, an infant, and this baby becomes a toddler, right? And this toddler means it started walking. And later on, this toddler will become a preschooler. It starts going to kindergarten. This preschooler becomes a primary school boy, a teenager, a primary school boy, not a teenager. It goes in primary classes. And later on, this boy grows up into a teenager, an adolescent, and this teenager will later on grow into adult, and this adult will grow into old person. So these are the different stages of growth. Now these stages are 1, 2, 3, 4 stages are for our childhood stages. Then comes adolescent stage, and then comes adulthood. And in adulthood, we will have, so first we will have in the childhood, what we will have? We will have a child, a toddler, a preschooler, primary schooler. Then in adolescent, we will have teenagers. And later on in adulthood, we will have adults and the old persons. So these are the different stages of growing. These are the growing stages of humans. Right? Now, the what happens that the life, our life has these different stages. First, it's a child. Later on, the child becomes adult, and at some point, this adult is going to have babies. It's going to produce babies, which later on will grow into adults, right? Which later on is going to grow into adults, as we have seen in the presentation. Now, tell me, children, can you think of two things that a baby need help for? Name any two things that a small baby needs help with. Like a small baby cannot do that. Yes, Neha? Yes, a baby cannot have food itself. So you need to feed the baby, right? So the first thing is feeding. And which is the next thing? Is for moving around. A baby cannot move around. So a baby needs help. It needs your help to take the baby, to help the baby move around. So these are the two stages, two things where the baby needs your help. Feeding and for moving around. Now tell me class that do all the human grow at the same rate? Do all the human grow at the same rate? No, of course not. We all grow at different rates, right? Like suppose your teacher is different from you. I am different from my students, right? I'm not like my students. In the same way, you people, you are students, you are different from other students. Like Amir is different from Neha. Neha is different from Alia. Some of you might be a little fat. Some of you might be skinny. Some of you might be very tall. Some of you might be short. So they are different. We all are different from one another, yet we have the same stages. Yes, we have the same stages. First, a child is born, then the child becomes a baby, it becomes an infant, a toddler, a teenager, adult, and later on an old person. So we all share the same stages, but we all grow at different rates, right? Some of you like suppose if I tell you Amir is born and Amir is a little fatter and Neha is also born at the same time, but Neha is skinny. So these two are different from one another, right? They will grow a little at different rates. Amir might grow faster than Neha, or Neha might grow faster than Amir, or Neha might grow faster than Alia, although they were born at the same time. But some growth might be very, very high. Some of yours might growth might be very slow, right? So we all have different stages, different rates of growing, right? But we all are humans, right? But yet we all are different from one another. So my question comes now that what are the different stages for of growing? First, a child is born. A child is born, right? Next, the child becomes, this becomes, when a person is born, it is a baby. This is the second stage, right? Now, baby becomes an infant, right? Small baby, it becomes an infant. This infant will become a toddler. Toddler. This infant becomes a, uh, just a minute. Infant becomes a toddler, and later on, toddler becomes a teenager. teenager, and what the teenager is going to become? It will become into an adult, right? So you see, these are the different stages: born, baby, right? So these are the different stages of growing, or of which is for human beings. The stage of you can say the life cycle of human beings, the different stages of human being. So first stage is baby is born, right? Second stage is it becomes a baby. Third stage is the baby becomes an infant. And then the fourth stage is that infant becomes a toddler. And later on, the fifth stage, the toddler becomes teenager. And that teenager is going to grow and become an adult. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stages. And later on, the seventh stage is that adult is going to become an old person. That is the last stage, right? And that adult will become old person. 7 stages, right? So these are what we were discussing, and I hope it must be clear in your mind. So we have all these different stages. We all grow at the same stage, but our growing rates are different from one another, right? This is what we have already discussed, right? So now what I want you to do is you are going to write down the same heading, stages of growing, and you are going to write these 7 stages. Write down the stages of growth of a baby. That what are the different stages of a growth of a baby that you are going to write down in your notebooks, these 7 stages. And I'm going to give you 7 minutes for this task. Your time starts now. Time is up. Time is up. Hands up. Show me your hands. Show me yours. Wow. Good. So now show me your notebooks, like whether you have done it. Very good, Amir. Very good, Neha. Good job, Alia. That's great. Very good. Now, what you are going to do is for homework, you can paste the pictures or draw the pictures of these 7 stages. Okay, that I'll be posting on portal. So that means what we have learned in the class today, we learned about the stages of growing. And how many different stages are there? What are the stages of growing of a child, of a baby? There are 6 stages. That is, baby is born, it becomes baby, infant, toddler, teenager, and an adult. Right? So basic stages are 6 stages of a growth of a baby. So this is what we have done, and this is the stages of human beings, are the stages of growing. This is our life cycle. That what happens when a baby is born, it becomes into a it's born, it becomes a baby, it forms, it grows and into an infant. Later on, this infant grows into a teenager. Teenager grows into an adult, and adult grows into an old person. These are the different stages of growing. This is the life cycle of human beings, right? Now, tomorrow, what we are going to do is we are going to do the life cycle of animals. That would also be very interesting for you. Okay, so do remember this. Do remember to do the homework which I'll be posting, and that will be all about drawing or pasting pictures of the stages of growth, right? And do remember to revise everything that we are doing today. Now start revising. Whatever we have done in the class or whatever we are doing, later on revise it, right? Because the next week is very important. As I have told you before, it's going to be our reinforcement week, in which we are going to recall, recap everything that we have done throughout this session before the exams, before the midterm exams. Okay. All right, children. So say see you tomorrow. Bye bye.